Welcome, welcome. And, Gabe, that's not a question. I will hydrate, but that's not a question. I should actually put, like, a hydration button instead of the thing. Is there a limit to push-ups? Technically, no, but the urgent should be off. So you won't have anything that I have to do immediately, per se. And I can pause to do them. So the general idea is that push-ups and squats, I'll do it like my, any convenience of sorts. And then when it comes to the urgent push-ups or urgent squats, I have to do those and cannot pause. I have to do them immediately. Or can you do 100? Well, can you do 100 push-ups? I probably could. I mean, we'd have to wait and see. But the main idea is that the urgent push-ups and urgent squats are reserved for horror games. So I'll re-enable those once we get back into Resident Evil 8. Which, I can't wait to do more of, so I'm hoping I can beat Xenoblade Chronicles this stream, but I doubt it. But why don't we get into it? Yeah? Oh, it's going well. How about you, Gabe? Osai? There we are. Missed the first RE8 stream. I made it to like the first major boss fight, I guess you could call it. I don't want to say too much just in case it could be spoilers to someone else. So instead, I will just say it was big, it was on a roof, and it was angry. Oh, welcome, Windex? Was it Windex or Bleach? I always forget. I don't know why. How are you doing? Oh yeah, if you're wondering, Windex, okay? The reason I've got these three up front, for Father's Day I actually gifted my dad a Switch, and we played a lot of Mario Kart together that week. And he also wanted me to play Bomberman with him, so this weekend I'll be playing Bomberman with my dad. Oh. System update. I apparently haven't used this thing in a while. It was kind of fun to play Mario Kart with my dad. Push-ups? Doesn't Bomberman R have Simon in it? I don't know, actually. Yeah, I'll do 10 push-ups right here. Hold up. There we are. It has Bloody Tears, pretty sure is music. I mean, makes sense. It's a Capcom game. Or not Capcom. How did I do that? It's a Konami game, and Konami wants to write off of its legacy as much as possible. And welcome, V. How are you doing? I should know the difference between Konami and Capcom, because I used to very heavily favor Konami back in the day. Dropping frames, what? How's that happening? Hold on a moment, something's going on. Okay. I don't know what that was about, but it sure was a thing. Yeah, Capcom still makes games. Yeah. It's really sad, too, because I really heavily enjoyed Konami's games. Because when I was little, I really loved the Castlevania games. But, these days you can kind of count on one finger how many times they make a Castlevania game that's good. Which is to say, you're not going to be lifting any fingers. I'm still dropping frames. What's up with that? Hold on. Very strange. I appear to be dropping a lot of frames today. Which is weird, because I did do Ethernet. Konami were NES and SNES royalty, and then it slowly crumbled. That is very true. They were, like, really big during those days, and then very quickly started losing their luster. And I think no game series felt it nearly as badly as Bomberman. Bomberman had it, like, super rough, too. Like, does anyone remember Bomberman Act Zero? We want to appeal to the Western audiences, so let's, make it dark and gritty. There'll be a female one that, you know, has the chest. Also, over-the-shoulder camera in a game that was made for that bird's eye view. Yeah. I to this day, do not understand that. Bomberman, but they all look like Mortal Kombat cyborgs. They do kind of look like Mortal Kombat cyborgs. Like, I won't lie, the designs were kind of cool. But I would have preferred it to be like a funny spin-off game, or like, not even a spin-off game, like maybe a funny mini-game that you could unlock if you, like, beat a campaign or something. Because if that was how it was treated, I think most people would have been a lot happier. This is Bomberman? No, this is not Bomberman. I'm talking about Bomberman, but I'm not playing Bomberman. When did they add robots? Depending on which manual you're reading, since the very beginning. Because if I remember correctly, the American manual of Bomberman for the NES mentioned that Bomberman himself was a robot. Can't fight those things. Too many of them for my situation. I'm walking backwards right now, by the way, because from what I remember, I was like super underleveled. So why Bomberman? Oh, you mean like why Bomberman instead of Bomber Robot? Bomberbot? The NES era was very weird. Yeah, why rock, man? There was a lot of oddities in the SNES and NES days. Alright. See if I can just lure only one of these boyos. My guess is like Something Man was really just to sell because Superhero Association and Bomberman and Megman did. You know what? That makes sense. I hate that I can't tell if you two are tethered. Okay, you two are definitely tethered. You know what? I'm fighting y'all. Wait, never mind. I just realized that you're like 47. There's gonna be one thing if you're 46, but you were 47. We can't lose. Don't hold back. Oh. Hello, literally every Mechon in the vicinity. There are 49. Oh, all of my health vanished. Probably good to run for a bit. Oh, Ricky's alive, so it's all good. Yeah, if there's one feature that I really wish this game had, and I'm kind of confused as to why it doesn't exist, is the ability to switch characters while in combat. I kind of want to get into Xenoblade games, and one of my reasons for wanting to feel the terror of sneaking past a super boss tier enemy in the wild. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to do that a lot. I've had to do it, like, throughout the entirety of the game, for example. Alright. If it's just these two, it should be fine. I missed that entirely. Oh. I will get to that in just a moment. Thank you, Ricky. Ricky is the real hero pawn. And we don't need to use a group attack on that. It's a lifestyle in all the games, except it doesn't punish you in 1 or in 2 for dying. Yeah, that is one thing I do appreciate, that it doesn't just punish you endlessly for dying. I don't have anything for that. Going underwater in Final Fantasy VII already gave me that, sorta, because the Emerald Weapon, ah. X punishes you if you die while using a battle mechanic. How so? I've never played X, so... Grants AP up buff at the start of battle. Makes you do a button challenge, and if you fail, you have to fork over a lot of money. Ugh. I hate that. I haven't even dealt with it, and I hate that. Storing Tempest. I had to retry the endgame of Final Fantasy VII, but your save you already had in the final dungeon was effectively borked because you were unprepared. So you started from the diamond weapon. Oh, I feel ya. I feel ya there. I've done that. That's why I try to do multiple saves if I can, unless I, feel confident. Playing X now, and man, it hurts. Does it? Let's do Soaring Tempest. Level up then. Then you went after Ultimate Weapon. Then Midgar made sure I had tons of items. Spent some time grinding Turbo Aethers in Midgar Subway part where you meet the Turks for the last time. Then I went into the Northern Cave and missed your chance to use the save. Oh no. Sometimes you get just too caught up in everything. Burninate? Is Ricky Trogdor now? Burninate. Spits out fire, scorching all enemies in range. So I went down to fight Genova and Sephiroth under the fear of redoing, but you did it. Ah, that's nice. So I know... I vaguely remember someone saying that Hero Time was really good. Trying to think of what I would want to replace here, because I've got a really good layout for... The range for Burninate is insanely large. So should I use it to replace Friezinate? Watching Sephiroth fall apart at the polygons felt so good. Dude, Square has always been really good. Then the final fight that you literally can't lose, and I let the ending roll. They're both really good. I'm trying to think of what to replace here then, because Sneaky is pretty good. Bitey Bitey is also really good. At least in my experience. Happy Happy is useful? Bitey Bitey are the Met arts Ricky has. Okay, then I'll replace that. And we will level up Burninate. Roly Poly sucks to mid-game. Does it? Because I've had it come in clutch, like, a lot lately. I had it knock over an enemy several times when it needed to. Happy is good. A lot of enemies resist topple after this area. Okay, so it's an after this area kind of deal. Okay. A lot of bosses as well. Not super familiar with Xenoblade 1 aside from watching a relatively small chunk through Let's Play by Chuggenroy. Watched more of his Xeno 2 series. You see, I'm not familiar with either of the games, really. I've been playing through one, but I am completely unfamiliar with Xeno 2 outside one particular line. I bet you can't guess which one it is. Couldn't watch his 2 series, man. Used mostly axes. Are axes not very good? I straight up can't. I don't think that's one of the lines that I was thinking of. Welcome to Axetown, population your face. No, I am familiar with the line of, what's his character, Zeke? The one with the eye patch. You know, he goes up to, I don't know her name, and is like, handling a man's turtle, and then runs off. He sounds like so offended by it, too. That's basically all I know about that entire game. Yeah, that's a Zeke line. Absolute Melvin. Yeah, he seems like the kind of character that would be like a fan favorite. Got a few enemies here. Ooh. Holy cow, that is a huge area of effect. Ricky is now a war crime.
But we mustn't be careless.
A work of art, the best character in the game. He makes me happy. Basically, he and his magical weapon person are the game's Team Rocket for a while. There's a bit of a twist about them, but I won't spoil it. Thank you, thank you. I have plans to eventually play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I think Jellycat is the one that wanted to stream Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so I might do it on my own time. Depending. I'll talk to Jellycat about that eventually. We'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, I should probably bounce from this area real quick. Because I need more gems. And I think I've got more than enough gems. Or at least more than enough things to make gems.
Who's there?
So you said Topple isn't very good. Also, what is tension? I've been playing for so long and I still have no idea exactly what tension is. Is that what, like, charges up the thing in the middle? Because that's what I was thinking. Some gem effects get heavily nerfed in X and 2. Just a final note on FF7. Hearing the prologue theme in the credits got me really emotional. Oh, then you're gonna have a lot of fun with Final Fantasy IX. Do you know the pictures on the left? What do you mean by that? Like, how they look sad and there's fire? What? That's tension? Oh, you mean like their character icons?
Who's there?
The character profiles, yeah. So, what does tension do in the game? Is it sort of like a character morale? You gotta keep that up to do good damage? It affects accuracy and attack damage. Huh. So high tension means they hit more. Then I'm probably gonna want that. Tension swing. Allows tension to change more easily. If they miss it, repeatedly goes down. Is that what, like, the random, like, QTEs are in the middle of battle? High tension also affects the length of chain attacks. Oh, here I was thinking it was random. It's important when facing higher level enemies. Yeah, most of them are those. Tension and affinity affect chain attacks. Interesting.
I've got it. Consider it done. There we go. Ugh. Thanks a lot.
Didn't make much. Xenoblade 2's magical weapon people idea is one I've seen a handful of times, and it always makes me go, huh, like Soul Eater. It does seem like a cool mechanic. I probably missed a tutorial on it when it was being explained. Never heard anyone compare them to Soul Eater, but yeah, that's literally all it is. See if we can get as many things up as possible here. And Xenoblade 2 and X makes you feel like you missed the important tutorials no matter what? Is it, like, just relentlessly difficult? The mechanics don't get explained, or if they are, they don't get explained well. Ugh.
I've got it. I am all over that. I suppose.
I remember hearing that X has some pretty bad graphic design for the menus and such, like tiny text, bad colors, etc. Huh. I wouldn't know because I didn't own a Wii U and therefore did not look at anything involved with the Wii U. Pretty much the extent of my Wii U knowledge at the time was just Zombie U. And it's because that was one thing that looked vaguely interesting to me. Sometimes they tell you to find an item and then tell you to find it basically on the level of finding a unique monster in Guar Plain with no help. There's a heart-to-heart. The Wii version of this game also had some cluttered menus. I remember hearing about that. Can't view this heart-to-heart yet? Ugh. I'll never get to see any heart-to-hearts. I got to see, like, 1 or 2 in the very beginning, and then, like, ever since then, it's been none. Yeah, I hear the definitive edition fixed a lot when it came to the way the menus are presented.
Hello.
Definitive edition made it an actually playable game for a lot of people. So it's kind of like what might need to happen to Morrowind one of these days. Because as much as I like Morrowind, it's not the most approachable in certain aspects. Now, I'm not saying it needs a compass that shows you exactly where you need to be, because that's part of what I like about it, is that it doesn't have that. Xenoblade is very much built like a single-player MMO, but boy did they not have to carry over the eyesore of a bunch of stuff on screen. Definitive Edition is for sure better to look at to play. Yeah, I can imagine so. When I was playing this game, when I just started, the very first thing that I was thinking of was, Final Fantasy XI. Because it reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy XI in many aspects. Albeit it's less brutal, in that when you die in this game, you don't have the possibility of losing a level up. 2 has the exact compass thing. To be honest, I don't hate like that kind of compass in games. I just don't like them in open world RPGs. Because I would prefer to get lost in the world that you're trying to sell me, if that makes any sense. And it's really hard to get lost in a game if I spend most of my time glued to a compass that just points me in a singular direction. If I'm told that I have to actually, wander a map like an actual map, I'm much more invested in that. That's part of why I really like that game Outward that I'm playing with Loot Cat. it feels more like I'm actually having to adventure. Oop, wrong one. Oh, nice, we leveled up. My Final Fantasy knowledge, or more accurately, ability to care, really only extends to 10. Heard good things about 12. Yeah, I like 12. People don't like 12, mostly because of its plot. Like, the main character, Vaughn, is, he sure does exist.
We win!
14 as well, but a non-MMO person. 14 is the least MMO game I have ever played, if I'm going to be real with you. Oh. This is not very good. Hey, buds, I need help. Oh, okay, you can just leave me there dead. Damn. I wasn't paying attention and I got murked for it. Final Fantasy XII lad always seemed to me like an Aladdin little scamp character. I mean, that's actually quite accurate to what Vaughn is like. Snarky teenage boy that I'd rather punt into another game and out of this experience. Okay, he's not that bad. In general, Vaughn isn't a bad character, he just does nothing in the plot. Pretty much, he's only really there to be the reason other people are there. Even though other people in the plot are very much more of a player in the story. If I had to compare it in any way, it would be like, imagine, imagine that Shulk wasn't the main character of this game. It was... I don't know, who's the least consequential of this? Sharla. Imagine if Sharla was the main character of this game. She exists, she has her purpose in the world, but in terms of the, you know, the main plot, she does not really contribute anything to it. Honestly, I feel like Ricky contributes more to the plot than Sharla does. But Ricky would work too. You know, I completely forgot to enchant. Sharla does some things, I guess. Yeah, but Ricky is the comedic relief. Therefore, Ricky still does more in plot. You're basically playing the RPG story from the perspective of an optional party member. Yeah, pretty much. Vaughn does the least amount of anything in the plot. Like, he drives the very beginning of it. But he quickly gets kind of put into the shadows for... dang it, what was his name? There's like two characters that get a much greater focus than Vaughn, and I already forgot their name. One of them was actually supposed to be the main character, but they changed it out for Vaughn for some reason. It's just Square things. If you ever have any questions, just remember that Square also thought it was a good idea to make the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles remaster the way it is.
Isn't pushing you at all.
There's really nothing wrong with a passive character, but as you're describing him, he seems barely passive. A passive protagonist at least reacts and moves the plot through it. Vaughn has his moments, but he is... How would I describe it? He's not a character that you can really say is going to leave any lasting impact. Moved out of the way. We'll probably want to be about level 47 before we start trying to fight everything in the later portions. Let's see. In this situation, it's probably best to do this. And then topple him again to keep him down, and then burninate. There we are. That wasn't exactly going the greatest at first. There we are. I think in terms of my favorite Final Fantasy other than 9, which, you know, I'll talk a lot about 9, but I probably shouldn't, because otherwise I'm just going to be here for probably hours just gushing about Vivi. Maybe I'm just biased up to 10, as I stated before, but I feel like past Titus, no FF protagonists stand out as much. That's mostly because, as a whole, a lot of the Final Fantasy games kind of went in another direction from what they used to. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that they're very different from what old Final Fantasy was. And I feel like Final Fantasy X is pretty much the last old-school Final Fantasy. Because 11 and 12 play very similarly to each other. It's just that 11 is an MMO, 12 has a character that certainly does exist.
Leave it
And I don't know many people who really like lightning. Most people I hear don't really like lightning at all, really.
Now we're putting together. Let's focus our efforts. Understood. Done back. Don't worry about it. Nicely done.
Oh, I am not doing so hot in this fight. Ah, the heal went off too late.
Be careful.
I require healing.
Done back. Don't worry about it. Nicely done. This isn't going well. We can definitely do this. We're not invincible. Milano, enchant. Electric
Oof. My timing is super off.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
I'm trying to think of which, like, Final Fantasy main character that I disliked the most. I think of the ones that I've played. I just core me money mugged by a level 90 unique monster. Are you playing Xenoblade right now as well? Or are you playing something else? Also, I think you're playing X right now, yeah? Oh, I hope you're having fun with that. I think I've said it before, though, but I'll say it again. I would not mind having, like, a Xenoblade MMO. Because I really think that I, can see this working as, like, a Nintendo console first MMO. Well, okay, it wouldn't technically be the first MMO because Phantasy Star Online was on the GameCube, but I guess it'd be the first one that wasn't on another system.
Everyone, let's go. Sidekicks, try hard. Make it a swift victory.
I would kill for a Final Fantasy VI remake that's turn-based, fully voice-acted and stylized like the DS version of 4, but with some visual updates to that pseudo-chibi look. But Square Enix is very different these days, so hopes are negative. You see, I would prefer to just have Square Enix take all of the first 6 Final Fantasy games and put them into a collection with no real changes aside from, improving the god-awful translations the games had. If they were to do that, and literally only that, I would buy it. But instead they went and decided, hey, we're gonna make, like, a collection of things, but they're all separate.
You may be right, Ricky. We can definitely do this.
Oh, vision. Jeez, that's a lot of damage.
Electric gutbuster. Dumbbell, listen. Right, I see.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe include a full sound test, concept art, borders for each game. Yeah, like that.
Dance with me. Really feeling it. Feel the world strike. I feel the power returning to me. Yeah, Dumbbell, go for it. All right, I'm feeling it. You may be right, Richie. That was too easy.
There we are.
But we mustn't be careless.
As well as quality of life fixes, like maybe the run feature in 6 isn't an equipable item. You see, I didn't even know about that because I've never actually played 6. I've been intentionally avoiding a lot about 6 because I plan to eventually play it. But, you know, I never had a chance to when I was younger because we just didn't have that game nor the money. Don't know why I never just ended up, you know, emulating it or anything, but I sure didn't do that. Instead, I was more keen on revisiting some stuff that I remembered from my past, like Brain Lord. Which, by the way, Square Enix, I have one request. It's called Remaster Brain Lord. Please. Oh, welcome, Loot Cat. How you doing? Lurking, huh? Have a good lurk.
We can definitely do this. This isn't going well. The fight has only just begun. Electric gutbuster. Okay, let's finish this. Split edge. That was too easy.
There we are. It's dead.
I can see this isn't pushing you at all.
Did Ricky just fall down and break every bone in his body? Those big Mechon have, like, huge level differences. I still dream of an FF6 faithful remake, but as I said, won't ever happen. At the same time, though, I never in my life expected there to be a remaster of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and we did get one. It was terrible, mind you, but we did get one. The trouble with the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles remaster, though, is explaining why it's fundamentally a flawed remaster is very hard to do without spoiling the game. Because its biggest problem is plot relevant.
Don't hold back. Try hard. We can definitely do this. You may be right, Ricky. Thanks. Ha! Let's focus our efforts. Roger. How's that? Everyone, let's go.
If you want to play it legally these days, I guess settle for the mobile port on PC that looks like butt. Yeah. Unfortunately. Hold on. I got a Steam message this time. But I certainly did. Also, that's a lot of affinity changes. What was going on there? Ah, okay. I see what was going on. Well, Loot Cat, you know that Saturday that I said I had family stuff? It's not happening now. So maybe we can actually do the Saturday thing after all. Oh, wait, that was a waste. Cosmic Killer combo? I mean, it was a good combo. I remember FF8 got a remaster, HD remaster, and people weren't too happy with. I never looked into why and just bought the non-remaster on Steam, which I guess will be my next FF game after some other things. I hear very mixed opinions about 8. I think I remember Loot Cat himself not quite liking it. Yeah. Didn't you say... was it 8 that you said not to play? Or was that another one? The writing is not great. Yeah, 8 is one of the other ones I'm not familiar with. Good ideas and twists, but terrible execution. Well, it can't be as bad as Dirge of Cerberus. Then again, I don't think anything can beat Dirge of Cerberus. Did you know that I used to own that game? Did you know that I once beat the entire game without knowing what Final Fantasy VII was? Could you imagine how confused I was? Though, in retrospect, now that I think about it, even after having played Final Fantasy VII, it's still a very confusing plot, Dirge of Cerberus. I would not recommend anyone play that game. Ah, yes, Dirge of Cerberus, where Chaos Vincent does a Gurren Lagann before Gurren Lagann. Ah, now there's an anime I need to rewatch. It's been so long since I've watched Gurren Lagann, or however you pronounce it. I just remember it being a fun time. Get over here so I can slap you. And I don't know. Oh yeah, the new Final Fantasy thing. Oh wait, they're already enchanted. Ouch. There we are.
press on.
I know very little about that new Final Fantasy thing that everyone's talking about. You know, kill Chaos, the final boss from the first game. But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked much into Final Fantasy in a long time. Like, I play Final Fantasy XIV a lot, but I don't know. Kind of like UV, I kind of dropped off with 10. Final Fantasy Origins, which I guess is the very first game, but with Final Fantasy VII remake gameplay. Or perhaps it'll be a preview of Final Fantasy XVI. Yeah, I think most people are just joking on the thing more than actually caring about the game itself. Because it doesn't really give much reason to care about it. And then there is that Final Fantasy XVI thing, which looks not like a Final Fantasy game. I don't know, they've spent so long making, like, a specific image for themselves, and it feels like since 13, they've been trying to do something different with that image, which isn't a problem by itself. But the problem is, a lot of the brand recognition that, you know, Final Fantasy had is kind of missing in, say, like, 15 or 13. It's definitely there in 14, though that's mostly because that game is basically just the same as Final Fantasy IX, in that it's a celebration of all things Final Fantasy. Level 50? Screw that. Guess I'm gonna have to grind back there a bit.
Don't hold back!
You dare challenge hereupon?
Ha! What? Gale Slash! I'm really feeling it. You can definitely do this! Rolling! Shadow Arm! We need full power, Ricky! Okay, guys. Now we're doing it together. Focus on this moment, Joel. I'm really feeling it.
FF8 has great music, goes without saying, but I hear the battle theme and I'll never hear water and water and water. I don't think I'm familiar with this. I didn't mean to go with Ricky, but that works too, I guess. Oh, I'm dazed, and that's bad. Oh, so that's what the encourage stuff is about. I get it now. So, when you have to encourage them is when, like, their tension is going down. I am understanding. It's a meme someone made where they're saying a messed up water aisle sign to the tune of the 8 normal battle theme. Posted in the Discord. I will watch it after stream because if there's one thing I do know about Final Fantasy, it's that every single thing in it is a potential DMCA mess. I mean, several tracks from Final Fantasy VI alone can get you a copyright. Encourage farming is a strat used to farm affinity as well. Interesting. So, I'm going to guess that the farming of that would basically just be you fight a mechon that you're more than capable of beating up, and don't let any of your allies get an enchantment so they don't have the ability to hit it at all. So their tension gets low. Because I imagine that the bouncing attacks also makes it easier for them to miss more. You fight the flabbergasted Jerome. I don't think I know what that is. Getting bounced off lowers tension slightly. Did I put it on the meme chat or your own stream chat? Either or, really. Contextually, I would suggest putting it in mine. But you could also put... You could also put it in memes just fine. He has a spike that lowers tension. That sounds like it would be really brutal. There's an enemy with an insta-kill spike? Oh god, I'm getting memories of Skies of Arcadia all over again. Yeah, by the way, Skies of Arcadia, one of the early game dungeons has an enemy, a common enemy, with an ability that has a chance to instantly kill you. Level 120 as well. Oof.
Everyone, let's go!
There's Divine Protection that makes the chances of dying 10% every hit. All in favor of RPGs never having insta-kill moves on normal enemies, say aye. Aye. That was one thing that frustrated me to no edge in, like, to no end. Blech. In Skies of Arcadia. Aside from the emulator of mine not working properly, because I have a disc copy of the game, but I don't have the necessary tools to play it. And oh, I just realized that the fortress unit was after me. Why from so far away?
Hero pod on the rampage.
Leave me alone. Ow. Ow. That was really close. That was almost awful.
Everyone, let's go. Make it a swift victory.
Unless it's a super late game section, or better yet, an optional area, can we just not with the enemies casting level blank death? Ooh. Yeah. That's something that happens a lot, specifically in JRPGs for some reason.
You'll be gone before you know what hit you. Keep it up, Ricky. Here we go.
Let's do this. A little bit of this. And then heal. And then on top of that, we'll daze it.
The future is changing. Not bad. We are at one with the battlefield. Electric Dustbuster. Come on, we can do it. Pesky thing.
You're not allowed to use your move. Ooh, armor. That's physical defense, but more aether defense. I'm full of guesses, but mine for this is just like it's all a remnant of old JRPGs being super hard, as was the norm on the NES or such. Thing is, it actually started in like old Western CRPGs. As far as I'm aware, at least, it started back then. It was something that showed up quite often, particularly in things like wizardry. There we are. Skill trees. Extends the duration of auras. That's perfect for hero time. Let's get that. Sometimes I kind of ignore like proper origins of RPGs as a whole. Honestly, I do not blame anyone for ignoring origin points for that. Because, honestly, a lot of those games, it didn't age very well. Just kind of focus too much on just the JRPG aspects. I can understand that. It costs 30 for that. Because maybe you're weeb, but Western RPGs don't hit anything for me. I don't know if it's really a matter of being, like, super into the Japanese games or anything, because I feel like, in general, JRPGs and Western RPGs, you come to them for entirely different reasons. Because the Western RPG is more about making a character and building that character, whereas a lot of times the JRPG is more about playing a character and watching as the story progresses. As a result, you see like entirely different aspects of games depending on which of the genres you're playing. Because really, Western RPGs and JRPGs, they may share RPG in the title or of their genre, but they're not really the same at all.
Let's focus our efforts. Roger. We can definitely do this. Time is you never stood a chance. Let's press on.
Ricky like fighting easy monsters.
For me, I like both JRPGs and Western RPGs. I think, in general, though, I tend to have a favoring towards the Western RPG, because I'm much more into building a character myself. Because JRPGs, they're a lot of fun, yes, but oftentimes they really want you to be a specific character and go through a specific plot, which I get that, but I have a harder time relating to a character that I don't have any hand in creation with. Which is why when I'm playing Dark Souls, I tend to feel a lot more connection to my character than I would with a character like, say, Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. Even if I haven't played that game. Squats? Alright. I can do that after this battle. Oh, welcome, Super Gamer. I think that's what that's supposed to say. There we are. There we are. Battle complete. Let's do some squats. Alright. I'm inept at creating characters, so I prefer games where you can just play a character rather than make one. I can understand that. I'm someone who is focused on stories and enjoying a well-made one with well-made characters. Well, truth be told, just because you make a character does not make a story, you know, with a character that's less strong, or make it so the story is any less, you know, amazing. It heavily depends on the writers and how many options they're willing to give the player character. Because a really good example of this, actually, is a lot of the BioWare games. Because BioWare games are really good at giving you a lot of options to make you really, like, connect with your character while also connecting with other characters, for example. But if you play something like The Elder Scrolls, any connections that you have to your character are kind of pre-written. You don't really get anything too varied. The only not bad-looking character I ever made was in Pokemon Shield. Isn't that one of those games where it's, like, impossible to make a character that looks awful? Because I know Monster Hunter, or at least the old Monster Hunters, it was like that. It was, like, really tough to make a character look awful in that.
Right, let's do this. Make it a swift victory. Yeah, Dumba, go for it. Behold the power of the Monado. Nice beating.
I guess I can refresh your days.
Don't mess up. Got it. Split edge.
You can make the most plain character in existence, and that's probably the worst it can get. It can get very cursed, though. Can it? I don't know if it can ever get on the levels of curse that I have done in, like, Dark Souls 3.
We're counting on you. Here I come. Gale Slash.
Leave it to Hero Pop.
Costs a kidney to customize your character? Does it?
Keep it up. Leave it to me. You cannot escape.
Leave it to Hero.
Oh, it can't get that close, but in the context of a Pokemon game, it's very funny. Yeah, I can understand that.
Wow!
We did it.
There we go. Some treasure chests. With enough mods, any character creator can become a Build-A-Bear workshop for Eldritch Nightmare people. If you want a perfect example of what happens when a character creator has too many options, yeah, the new version of Miitopia is a good example, but I think my favorite example is definitely Black Desert Online.
Let's focus our efforts. Roger. This isn't going well.
Yeah, it's a really good editor. It gives you crap loads of options, though.
Behold the power of the Monado. Gale Slash. Okay, guys. Now, Dumba, listen. Right, I see. Thank you, Dumba.
Can it really get that cursed? Well, given that I've seen people recreate, like, perfectly accurate versions of Shrek with the character editor, there's also, like, perfect versions of Peter Griffin. You can get, like, just about anything done in the Miitopia editor. And it is... It sure is a thing. Hold on. I'm gonna show you a creation of mine from Dark Souls 3. Let's see if I can get something set up here. I gotta find it real quick. Oh, you were asking about the Black Desert creator? Oh, Black Desert Online, you don't have very many limits to. In fact, you're capable of doing asymmetrical edits to your character, which is not something I've seen in any other character creator ever in my life. So, obviously that results in some interesting stuff. Let's save that real quick. Go into downloads to find the image. Asymmetrical editing is really weird. It is. It also tends to result in a lot of complete and utter monstrosities. So, let's see here. So, this was a character that I had made in Dark Souls 3. I think I made this one back in, like, 2017 or so. I made a few interesting ones, actually. I always had a lot of fun making weird characters in games. Seems normal to you. I mean, could be. There's another one that I made in, like, Dark Souls 2 that had, like, a knife chin. Oh, there's this one. This one's good. Yeah. There we are. So, this was another character that I had made in, Dark Souls. This one was Dark Souls 2, however, which was a little harder to get to make look strange, if I'm going to be honest. Let me see if I can get a good example for Black Desert Online. Because there are some... Actually, like, a billion different examples. Oh, there's a pretty solid one right there. Let's save it. And then we can get back to Xenoblade. Character creators in video games and what people often make are prime evidence for us to never become gods of any sort. You know what? That if plastic surgery was cheap for some people. Oh, there we are. Here is an example of Black Desert Online's character creator. It is something. It is quite the smile, isn't it? Alright. Remove that. Yeah, and that was a tame example, by the way. You can get, like, super screwed up in that. Oh. I really wish that I could enjoy Black Desert Online. Unfortunately, it is one of the few games that I would consider too grindy. And I'm the kind of person that spent, like, several hours getting to max level in Gauntlet Legends, which is already kind of a grindy mess.
Thank you, Dumbo. Electric gun, everyone! Feel the flow! Worldly, this will be the mark. Shake your edge!
Can I? Oh, I can't.
Electric gunbuster! We win!
Breaking leg fighting easy, monsters.
I can see this isn't pushing you at all.
What's in over here? I don't think I've ever actually checked this out. A gate? I Google Black Desert Online character creation and the first image result is Michael Jackson. Yep. Sounds about right. I love Ricky's responses to other characters. Ricky is best character. Yeah, you are in for a ride, because you have two types of players when it comes to Black Desert Online. You've either got the people who make, like, really pretty characters, or you've got the people who make complete and utter monstrosities. She has beautiful responses as well. Well, eventually I'll snag two. But for now, I've got a Guilty Gear Strive on my list of things to buy. Because I've been meaning to get into fighting games, you know, as just sort of a casual thing. People who make pretty things and people who make the Predator. Yeah, sounds about right.
Everyone, let's go!
You dare challenge Hirobon?
Don't hold back!
Everybody.
Yeah, Dumbo, go for it! This will leave a mark. Shake your edge! Yeah, Dumbo, go for it! We can definitely do this! Use the Monado's power! Dance with me! Split edge! Soaring! Just what I needed.
Well, if there's one thing I'm glad about is that this game does not have the car alarm sound effect whenever you're low on health. Kingdom Hearts, I'm looking right at ya.
We can do it! Keep it up. We can definitely do it. Mighty hero god. I can see that you're in pain.
Run into the game's jungle area, and if it has any, and fight the buffest dude there. I got a physical copy of 2 just before it shot up in price. It shot up in price? That I did not know. Well, we've made it to 46. Due to Pyra and Mithra game went up to 130 euro at one point. People really wanted to see one anime girl, huh? Or 2 anime girl. Another semi-infamous character creator, Oblivion. Oblivion is a great game, but oh man, that character creator. It makes some monsters. And it's not even like the game's NPCs look better either. The game's NPCs look just as bad as anything the player could create. And I feel like people just saw Pyra and Mithra and got interested. Don't they have, like... You know what? I'm just not gonna finish that sentence. I think you get what I was gonna go for.
Right. Let's do this. Don't hold back.
Sidekicks, try hard.
At last, we move at the same pace. Power returning.
Found an image from Oblivion where the character is Moon Man and has a
Ricky like fighting easy monsters.
super brow and super chin. It's pretty easy to do that in Oblivion for sure. They're really good and easy to play in Smash, if that's what you meant. I was talking more about particular elements of their design tends to be very popular. All you need to do is go on art Twitter and you'll know exactly what I mean.
Let's do this.
Ricky, no like this.
Don't hold back. I feel my power returning to me. Thank you, Dante.
Not finishing my sentence. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know exactly what I mean.
Monardo's power. Leave it to me. Soaring.
Leave it to hero pod. High five.
We did it! Yeah! Electric Dust Blaster! All together now! Good call, Soul! Alright, I'm feeling it! We choose to fight! We've almost got them! We can definitely do this! We're the best! I can
Alright.
see this isn't pushing you at all.
I'm proud to say I exiled Pyra when I played too. Literally never used her. We'll see what I end up doing. I don't know the party members at all. So I think there's like a cat. I think. Maybe I'll use the cat. I don't know. And also she's broken. Like broken good or broken powerful? Or, not broken good. Like broken as in like she's powerful or broken like she's completely awful? Welsh? Are you calling Welsh people broken? Broken good. Okay. Broken Welsh. Mithra is one of the best in the game. Ah. No, the cat is Welsh. We talking about the cat from Gun? No, I was talking about the cat from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The cat in Gunfire is okay. It's definitely a beginner character. They can be good, but it's very situational, I guess is the way to put it. In fact, both the cat and Albai are relatively just okay characters. Because Tao is... well, okay, she's not amazing either. In multiplayer, yes, but I'm talking like from a solo experience. Crown Prince is not very good. Albai is decent. Albai is a pretty good pick. And then, I don't remember the other characters, but the bird is great. And the tiger is also good. How, I'm still trying to figure out. Gunfire is one of the weirdest video games title I've ever heard. Next up is Sword Cut and Stick Bonk. Yeah, Gunfire Reborn is the game that me and Loot Cat are talking about. Loot Cat and I have actually played that Gunfire game together, actually. It's a lot of fun. We managed to make it, like, really far, too. But, unfortunately, we did not see a volley of cannons at us. We did not stream it. We should have, in retrospect. Yeah, we definitely could. I would be perfectly down to do that.
Not bad at all.
Didn't you say you were gonna stream it? I did! As a possibility. A possibility. So... the weekends went cray-cray. Yeah. I'm hoping that I can get my schedule stuff sorted out for next week. So hopefully I can have a more consistent schedule. But I should be free rather consistently this week. Like, every day at like about 7 p.m. Though it takes me time to, get adjusted to being back home. Because, I gotta get my food, because I may not need the food as a ghost, but I like eating. It feels good to have food. You gonna shoot things tomorrow afternoon? Yeah, sure, why not? And it will work because it's a Thursday. I gotta smash this thing real quick. Late night Thursday. I don't know why, but the way you say late night Thursday makes it sound almost like we're about to do a podcast. What would a VCats podcast be like? Topple it. It'd be me talking about movies? Yeah, like, you'd be talking about movies and I'd get literally none of your references. Luke Cat complaining about movies. I think it would be fun to one day try, like, a podcast situation, though. I think that could be fun. I missed something real quick. Randomly remembering Endless Possibilities from Sonic Unleashed, which is a really good song. I never played Sonic Unleashed, so I'm not familiar with the song, unfortunately. 7 Rings in Hand, oh yeah. Maybe I'm nostalgic for them, but I basically love every vocal Sonic track. I don't know of any Sonic game that has a soundtrack that isn't good, if I'm gonna be honest. The Loot Cat has already done it for like 15 minutes. It's true, I got the desk and everything. Turning his cup at you when you don't get it. I mean, Loot Cat may have done a whole podcast thing, but have the rest of us VCats? No. We could all do a VCats podcast one day, I guess. I don't know what it'd be called. Mewcast? That's basically the consensus for everyone who knows Sonic games, even vaguely. Phantasma has appeared in his thing. His thing? Does it need a flamethrower to be burned? Hey look! I made a movie reference. John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the few movies that I have watched. If the next game fails, at least you get a whole new album to bop to. Yeah, pretty much.
We can't lose.
You dare challenge Hirobon?
Don't hold back.
You see how Luke Cat compresses, not normal.
Teacher's heroes on Ricky.
One of these days, we're just gonna have to get, like, a big ol' list of every single thing that, Luke Cat has referenced movie-wise that I didn't understand. It's gonna be a long list, I know that for a fact, but at least then I'd have it compiled, and then I can eventually go and actually watch the things. Because I would actually remember them then. Secretly The Thing, but like way more chill about it. Well, that would make it so you're no longer the odd one out, because at the moment you're the only one that doesn't have anything vaguely horror themed going on. Because we've got a literal ghost, a possible eldritch behemoth. You play League? Does that make you a horror monster? Playing League? Oh, I missed that entirely. Damn. Yeah, horrifying. It's not scary, that's just sad. You're being insulted, Loot Cat. You gonna take that lying down? Oh, that's level 50. Gold, you play League too. Did someone mention something movie related you didn't catch during the Kingdom Hearts 2 stream? I vaguely remember so, but I can't recall specifics. I think there was a reference to the Avengers, which I haven't watched. I'm just like, what? I'm just like, what, Luke Cat? Wow, this Aladdin character... I'm not that bad at movies. I've seen Disney movies. everything I've seen in the Kingdom Hearts games, I'm actually familiar with, because I had, like, the only VHS movies I had growing up was My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, a lot of Pokemon, pretty much all the Disney movies, what else did I have? Oh yeah, the entire Lord of the Rings series of movies, and Indiana Jones and Star Wars, both the prequels and the original trilogy. Yeah, that's it. Listen, the bar is so low, so I make assumptions. I mean, fair, but like I watched some movies in my life. Some. I mean, you could probably count them on, like, a couple hands, but I still have watched some. Don't bully Gold sometimes. A couple Star Wars movies and Pokemon movies and Star Wars is all you have to work with. And The Thing. The funny thing is, John Carpenter's The Thing, I had heard a lot about and wanted to watch for a long time. Some friends and I were getting together for like a horror movie marathon, but I could only make it for the one day. So I watched John Carpenter's The Thing with a bunch of friends. And, you know, we actually had a blast watching it. It's a really tense film, and probably one of my favorite horror movies. Which is saying something, because I don't like horror movies. And it's not because I get scared, it's because oftentimes I don't get scared. And I don't like it when I go to a thing and don't get the thing that I'm looking for, you know?
We can't lose. Don't hold back.
You dare challenge Hirokon?
It's actually a reason why I drop a lot of horror games as well. Because, like, they're advertising themselves as horror games, but they're just not scary. Movie night get-togethers for sure on the bucket list. We actually did one, the VCats at one point. We watched, the Valerian, was it called? I always forget its name. And the movie sucked. It sure was a thing. Man, this is a bad situation to be in. I think Loot Cat wanted to play it because he hated it or something. Yeah, I think it was something like that. I had a lot of fun watching it. Not because it was, like, good, but it was fun to laugh at. Same thing as, Tommy Wiseau's The Room, if you've ever seen that.
We can't lose. Ricky, go like this. Make it a swift victory.
Ricky's sidekick's too good.
Such over it, I feel like. Let's focus our efforts. Understood. Take this, everyone. Feel the flow of battle. Yeah, Tamba, go for it.
Okay, I've taken aggro. Was that the City of 1,000 Planets one? I think, yeah. had a lot of fun insulting it at the end. It's your #1 worst movie of all time. That's, I don't know if that's, like, high, quote-unquote, praise for you or not.
We did it!
Alright, the big threat is dead now, so we can clear this up now.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Everyone do
There we are. That run went a lot better. I assume Luke Cat's seen a lot of movies. More than me, that much is certain at least. Not that that takes much. I'm pretty sure everyone in this... I'm pretty sure just about everyone in this chat has seen more movies than I have. You could probably name a movie and I haven't seen it. I was always more of a game player than a movie watcher.
Can we get in through there?
It looks as though it's unguarded. It should make for a decent entry point.
Now's our chance, Dunban.
Yes. But don't lower your guard. The Mechon may just be hiding.
Never watched any Star Wars movies. I can't really say if you're missing much, because sure, they're fun movies, but okay, this is my personal opinion, but when it comes to Star Wars, the better content is all of the side content that became non-canon recently because of Star Wars. I would much rather do any of that stuff.
I've been waiting for you.
Like the books, the games.
How predictable. I knew you were going to come.
How could you? How could you do this to your own kind?
That ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm just having the time of my life here. Ain't that the point? I even get to take out that annoying Monado brat.
Oi, Beardy! You're talking pretty tough there. Don't be so sure you can take us all on by yourself.
Come on! I ain't that stupid.
What's that sound?
You
Uh-oh.
scumbag!
Well then, Monado boy. Think you can do it? Can you kill them all? I wonder who's inside. Who could it be? Your dad? Your mom? Maybe that special someone. Aha! Looks like we have our first contestant. Too bad she won't give me much of a fight.
It's just like with Zanza. Shala, look out!
Too bad she won't give me much of a fight.
Shulk?
Everyone, watch out for the green claws. And the other one's spears. There's something different about them.
You catch on quick, boy. You're right. These weapons are special. They were made especially to decompose you homs. No, wait. Any being from Bionis.
How can that be?
I don't know about all this technical stuff, but it's something to do with that ether. Ether is like the Bionis blood. The fortress sucks its blood out for us. Then
A
we
giant
use it
mosquito.
to make this green liquid.
You monsters!
Pretty clever, don't you think? This world suits me just fine, Dunban.
Munka, you're gonna pay.
I'm tired of your yapping, Mr. Hero. I'm gonna squish you like a slug. Right here, where we shared such lovely memories.
Okay, this is gonna be quite a difficult fight, I get the feel. So let's catch up on chat real quick. Okay. So, legit, episode 7 tried to continue what the original trilogy gave you, a turbo simple hero's journey with some twists baked in. Problem, director number 2 hates the plan and swaps course mid-trilogy. This dude has Freddy Krueger hands and a voice like a trash disposal. Yeah, he does. What may have ever been fun was okay was essentially dropped when Luke dropped a lightsaber, flipped the double bird, and drank green milk. Oh yeah, the milking thing. Why would you even say that? Why just reveal the secret? The last trilogy, much like Star Wars as a whole, was shattered by multiple people thinking they knew the core material the best. Yeah, Star Wars' biggest trouble, I find, is that they really want the thing to be something everyone can do. But what results is... How do I put this? A lot of the extra material, while it may be more fun, it also is very messy. Like, the whole canon for Star Wars is a total nightmare. With tons of retcons and more. I've got some friends who could, you know, tell you everything that go weird in the entire franchise. Star Wars has peaked. Too many cooks will spoil the broth. It got too big and too many people got involved for its own good, and now here we are, I guess. Yeah. If I could really compare it to anything, it's like... I guess the best way to put it is take, like, a world, make it sort of like a D&D situation where there's, like, established things, but now make it so, like, anyone can edit this established thing. Now suddenly the Force is capable of, I don't know, like, long-distance butchering. Or, like, it can tell you how many pulls it takes to turn off a ceiling fan now, or something. It's definitely a weird scenario. Oh, I misused that so bad. Well, Mumkar, you got your thing. You beat him up. It's like halfway through your campaign you got a second DM and then the third one took over for a bit and the second one comes back and the original DM is trying to start a new campaign that may or may not be worth it. And everyone won't shut up about that one game they played in high school. Yeah. I should have also done shield, but I think they need to be able to do damage as well. Okay. Here we are. What did I... What? Did I do something? Is the worst concept you ever had for an OC? For me, I actually can't say for sure, because I don't remember a lot of my old OCs. And a lot of my old ones are the ones that, you know, aren't good. Also, I need to redo this fight. What? Where'd this treasure chest come from? Was it from, like, one thing that I killed? But yeah, I really can't remember any, like, terrible OCs of mine. I think that I can barely remember a lot of my old ones anyways. Probably wants that strength up, then. We're gonna want him to do. Think you'll be going by now? Alright. Have a nice day, a nice sleep, V. You think no? Wanite Sheep's a rogue name. Oh, mine was a rogue named Night Sheep. Okay. I see what you were trying to say. At some point, you needed a bondulance. Dunban needs, like, much better affinity to people. Speaking of Bond, I actually haven't watched any of the James Bond films either. There you go. You can add that to the list now. I hope you're keeping track of all the movies I haven't watched, Loot Cat. All of your OCs are just buff monsters, so the best kind. Well, that makes two of us. Well, at least I'm not alone.
You dare challenge Hirobon?
Don't hold back!
Bond movies were never your bag. GoldenEye because of game. The only movies you watch are anime movies. I just don't watch movies. Like, plain and simple as that. But overall, they're not that good. Is that so? I see an anime movie and I might just go might as well. I do 4 hours of streams and talk about them with you. You know, one thing we could do, Loot Cat, and this is entirely an option, leading back into that podcast thing. We could watch a movie and then talk about it in a later stream. You could recite the whole script. It would be impressive.
How do you like that? We are at one with the battlefield. Everyone, let's go!
Level 50 has been destroyed. Now let's destroy the level 49. I'm trying to think of some movies that, like, people frequently recommend to me, and I just still haven't watched them. I've watched a few of the Ghibli movies. You know, like, I already listed a couple of them, My Neighbor Totoro and Princess Mononoke, but I've also watched Ponyo, Spirited Away. I think there was another one, and I'm just not remembering it right now. Oh, Howl's Moving Castle. I watched that, like, way long ago. I remember nothing of it anymore. The Turtle in the Desert thingy Blue Cat talks about. I'm going to pretend I understand. Like, you flip a turtle in the desert. What? Gotta ask Loot Cat about that one. I guess so. It's the first test from Blade Runner. Let's add that one to the list.
Everyone, let's go! We win! Not bad! Not bad!
I can see this isn't pushing you at all.
Honestly, at this point, it just seems like I've seen a whole 2 movies in my life, huh? I've definitely played a lot more video games than I have ever watched movies in my life. And even then, I haven't played a whole lot, because I grew up in a fairly poor family, so we couldn't always afford new video games. But if you ask me about video games, usually I have at least some outside knowledge of most of them. Because either, like, I saw a friend play it once, I played it at a friend's house, maybe. Or maybe, in some cases, particularly back when I was in middle school, I emulated it. I think one of the first games that I, like, really went into when it came to emulation was Secrets of Mana. Because that was a game that I didn't have. Now, why would you do that? Reasons.
Here we go! We're counting on you! Got it! This'll leave a mark.
Now, daze it.
Not over yet. Leave it.
And spin. Now burn it again. Starting to get to a point where we're doing some pretty decent damage with all this.
Now we're putting together. We got through that pretty good. I can see this isn't pushing you at all.
Not bad, not bad.
I think... Let's see. I'm trying to think of a movie that's, like, really popular that I have seen. Because I'm... Like I've said already 1,000 times at this point, I just don't watch movies. And I never really liked theaters much. I don't know why, I just can't stand them. I mean, yeah, there's Star Wars, but I'm trying to think of something other than Star Wars. It's locked. What? I can't think of anything off the top of my head, really. I mean, if you want to count, like, movies I've watched purely because of memes, I watched Boss Baby once. It's not very good. I also watched Despicable Me, the first one, which I actually did enjoy the first Despicable Me. I don't know how to feel about the other ones. I hear they get worse. I also watched the Bee Movie. And if you've ever watched the Bee Movie, you know exactly how weird that movie is. There's an entire video I could bring up right now to just showcase exactly what I'm talking about. Because it shows all of the weird bits of the Bee Movie. Which, I mean, it may as well just show the entire movie at that point. But... guess I'm gonna have to wait here for this thing to move. When the story is about a bee and a human in a relationship, yep. And, like, the only character in that entire film that is sane is the one who's treated as though they're insane. What was his name? Kenny? Like, this bee has basically stolen his girlfriend. And he's just forced to live this life where he lost his relationship to a bee. And, oh yeah, he played tennis too, yeah. Isn't there also like a scene where like one dude gets like one of those toothpick swords and fights, like sword fights the bee, and the bee is using like his stinger as a sword? Imagine walking around as the dude who got his girl stolen by a bee. That would be... that would be something, wouldn't it?
We can't lose! Make it a swift victory! Gale Slash! Let's focus our efforts! Roger! All together now! Good call, shot! We've almost got her!
Alright. We've already got a vision? Poison shot against me, huh? Take my aggro for me. Oh, I'm dead. There we go. Aside from Shulk just suddenly dropping dead in the middle of the battle, that worked out pretty well. Oh yeah, I've also watched the entire trilogy of Kung Fu Panda. Those are really good movies. I think I especially like the second one. Kung Fu Panda 2's villain is really solid. Probably one of my favorite animated villains. I should probably save in front of this and call it, because it is currently 10:30. And while I don't have to get up early tomorrow, I still prefer to do so. Because then it gives me plenty of time to get ready for everything and all that. And we're a level ahead, so hopefully next time we get over to Xenoblade, which should be next Wednesday, unless another scheduling mishap occurs. So, we will hopefully take down Mumcar. If not, then... whoops. Ending? Yeah. It's currently 10:30 where I am. So, I am going to commit a raid. And I think you're familiar with this person, Osai. I think I've seen you in their chat before. We're gonna raid Marsh. I know it says Gremlin Vision, but they're known as Marsh. They usually have a co-host named Red. and they're currently playing Chicory. Who? I'm pretty sure I've seen you in their chat at least once, Osai. I think it was Red's chat, specifically. Red Goon? Regardless. Thank you, Osai, Loot Cat, Windex, V, Gabe, and I think that was everyone who stopped by tonight. Oh yeah, Red and Marsha, it's been a while. Yeah. Alright. Y'all take care now, and thanks for stopping by. Ciao!